Hi guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Coffee and Hero Show, taking you through all of the new stock in this week. So first of all, I'd just like to say it's good to be back. I was obviously away at a family function over the weekend. Chris ably stepped in and held down the fort and did a great job as always. But yeah, no, it's good to be back. I mean, we were over in England celebrating father-in-law's 70th birthday, but I fit in a couple of comic book shop visits while I was away. We stopped at a place in Wolverhampton called AA Comics. Really cool. It was the third floor. It was almost like Smithfield Market distilled into one building, because the bottom floor was all vintage records, the middle floor was all military stuff, and the top floor was comics. But yeah, specialised in sort of golden and silver age stuff. Had loads of great stuff. I could have spent all day there, but I ended up coming out with some cool Batman issues, some really cool sort of first edition oversized reprints of Detective 27 and Batman #1, some Daredevil issues, Batman Judge Dredd graphic. As I say, it was great to jump in there. But yesterday we were driving back, so we went down to Bournemouth, roughly, which is where the house was we were all staying. But we drove back yesterday and we stopped at a comic store, and I won't name names because I would never sully someone's reputation. You know, I know how hard it is to get a business going and keep it going. But we went to a comic store and I was in there 2 minutes and I had to walk out. My OCD was kicking in the overdrive. No comic bays, no comic boxes, literally piles of comics like these graphics are piled. None of them bagged and boarded, just on tables everywhere. You know, maybe stacked this high, and on the top it would say DC D to H, buy 4 get 1 free, £3.50 each. I was just looking at it going, oh my god, I need to get out of here. No organisation, no bagging and boarding. God knows how many ripped comics through there. There was a comic rack as well, like an old spinner rack, and again nothing was bagged and boarded, but everything was packed as tightly as possible, so the comics at the front were all getting indented. I'm going to stop talking about it. It was genuinely giving me pause. So we lasted about 2 minutes in there and we left there. But as I say, the AA Comics, if you ever happen to go to Wolverhampton for whatever reason, I really can't recommend enough. It was awesome. But yeah, no, I'll get on to what we have this week. I mean, graphic novel wise, great to have such a great range of stuff in. That was the other thing I did while I was away, I should say. Tons of graphic novel reading. Read the complete Murder Falcon, read Nice House on the Lake, read Barnstormers, read Batman the Imposter, you know, read some really good stuff while I was away. So yeah, I was ahead of my pull list, so it was nice to jump into graphics. So yeah, as I say, tons in this week. I mentioned that last week there was a decent amount of stock that was missing last week, and therefore it would arrive this week along with this week's new releases and this week's reorders as well. So as I say, tons of stuff to get into here. So the first one I'm going to show you here is Kill Them All. So this is by Kyle Starks. If you follow the podcast, you will have seen that we interviewed Kyle Starks last week. Thoroughly amazing bloke, probably most well known now for the recent Peacemaker Tries Hard, but also the longest tenured writing on Rick and Morty, and done loads of cool indie stuff, you know, Rock Candy Mountain, Six Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton, I Hate This Place. But Kill Them All was one of the first ones that he kickstarted, and I saw it was in stock with Diamonds. I love his style, so I had to get these in. So she was the world's greatest assassin, but betrayed by her murderous cartel. He was a disgraced ex-cop looking to get his job back and release his righteous fury on crime. All that stands between them and bloody justice are 20 floors of killers and henchmen in a high-rise tower full of bullets and bloodshed. Yeah, so he said he just loves 80s and 90s action movies, so he basically would write stuff that he loves. So again, sounds like a cracking sort of 80s/90s action movie right there. Next up, Sins on the Salton Sea. This is one of the latest releases from AWA Comics. I really enjoyed this. Brisson, C.P. Smith. It was a crime book, but it took a bit of a turn from just being a crime book into something really cool. Batman The Dark Knight Returns. You're going to see a couple of classics coming up here next that all comic stores should have at all times, damn it. Batman The Dark Knight Returns, of course, being one of them. 30th anniversary edition here. Frank Miller, quite simply for me, the greatest comic ever made. The second greatest comic ever made, it should also be in stock in all comic book stores at all time, and that of course is Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons' Watchmen. Phenomenal book, you know, needs no introduction. This is a lovely, what's called the International Edition, but this is completely thorough, all 12 issues, all the back matter. Really cool edition for that. New Star Wars Epic Collection in this week, which is The Menace Revealed. This covers stories take place before and during Episode 2. So you've got Star Wars The Bounty Hunters, you've got Free Comic Book Day issues, you've got Attack of the Clones issues, you've got Hasbro Toys R Us exclusives, and material from Dark Horse Extra as well. So Quite a lot of good stuff there, cracking cover as well. Next up is part of the Marvel Modern Era Epic Collection. This is Dark Avengers, and this is volume 1 of Dark Avengers. So this contains Dark Avengers 1 to 16 plus the annual, Dark Avengers Uncanny X-Men Utopia, Uncanny X-Men issues, and Dark Avengers Uncanny X-Men Exodus as well. Norman Osborn, the former Green Goblin, has been awarded the Avengers franchise, and he's assembling a terrifying team in his own image. We're getting in the volumes of The Boys back in stock as well. I'm still waiting the number 1s that come in, but this now means we have 2 to 6 of all of the omnibuses. So again, one of the best indie comics the last 20-30 years. I got these in this week as well, which is the TMNT Last Ronin Director's Cut. So this is basically like the assembly edition of that classic story. Go behind the scenes of the best-selling graphic novel with loads of character designs, concept art and sketches, as well as parts of the original draft idea from Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird as well. And then we finish off this pile with Waller versus Wildstorm, another one of those DC Black Label oversized bad boys that you either love or you hate. Let's be honest. I love them, personally. But yeah, this is the complete mini-series of that, Waller versus Wildstorm. So that is that pile. Let's put that over here. Next up, a couple of mangas in this week, which is Kamen Rider Kyuga, volumes 2 and 3, going into the manga section. Nightwing Dick Grayson hardcover back in store this week. So this, of course, is the second part of the Nightwing run. You have Leaping into Life first, and then Dick Grayson next. So that's some Nightwing issues, but also some Flash and Superman Kal-El issues, because there were a couple of crossovers as well. Back in stock this week is The Magic Order from Mark Millar and Olivier Coupel. For me, this is Millar's best work from his Miller World line. Harry Potter meets Goodfellas. Can't say it fairer than that. Back in stock again as well, Swamp Thing, Saga of the Swamp Thing, Book 1, Alan Moore's book, of course. Stephen Bissett, John Totleben on art as well. So, the definitive Swamp Thing run, of course. Back in stock as well, I really, really like these. These are the best of 2000 AD editions. So, if you're like me and you would like to get into 2000 AD, but you just think it's a bit impenetrable because there's so much to it, or that it's just Judge Dredd, these are great. So there's going to be 6 volumes, I believe, in total. So we've 4 and 5 on the shelves out there. 6 is yet to be released. But volumes 1, 2, and 3, these are essentially collecting the best stories from 2000 AD's history. So, they call it the ultimate 2000 AD mixtape. So in this volume, you've got Judge Dredd, you've got Halo Jones, you've got Humanity is on the Brink in the Space Murder Mystery from Dan Abnett and INJ Colbar. Judge Anderson takes center stage in this one. You've got Red Planet Blues, you've got the Vampire Effect, you've got Nemesis the Warlock. So it's basically about showcasing 2000 AD rather than just showing, hey, it's Judge Dredd. One of my favourite books of the last couple of years is Night of the Ghoul, and that's because it's Scott Snyder and it's Francesco Francavilla, 2 of the best horror creators working in comics today. It also factors in one of my other loves, which is cinema and sort of myths of lost films. Brilliant book, can't recommend enough. This is one I'm curious about because I'm a big fan of Eduardo Risso, who of course was the artist on 100 Bullets, among other great things. And he has this book called Borderline. I saw it in previews, knew nothing about it other than it was Eduardo Risso, so I've ordered it in. 4 volumes in total. So of course this being Diamond, I've got volume 1 and volume 4, but I'm waiting on 2 and 3. Go figure. A couple of Marvel ones coming up next. We have Venom Lethal Protector. So this was the mini-series, 5-issue mini-series. David Michelini, of course, working on this with Farid Karimi on art. You've got Sabretooth and the Exiles. Another mini-series, another 5-issue mini-series for this one. Written by Victor Lavelle and art by Leonard Kirk. We have Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain. So this was Teenie Howard, I believe. Yep. 5-issue mini-series once again, art by Vasco Georgiev. Next up is Do a Powerbomb. You're probably sick of hearing me talk about this book, but tough, we're going to listen some more. Do a Powerbomb, best book of 2022. I want to say it sort of ended in 2023, but started in 2022. Daniel Warren Johnson, Mike Spicer on art, of course. Wrestling meets Dragon Ball Z. Totes emotion. Amazing book. Absolutely amazing book. What I've decided to start getting in this week as well is I've always been getting in Nightwing in the hardcovers now. A lot of that is because I really like the hardcover format. I think it's the best example of the format. But DC have started doing trade paperbacks of the Nightwing run as well. So these are slightly cheaper than the hardcover. So of course these are the floppies. So again, we've got them in order. So Leaping into the Light. I did say Dick Grayson was next in line. Technically, the next in line is actually Fear State, which was a Batman crossover, but also tied in really well with Nightwing, and then Dick Grayson. So again, on the shelves, there's going to be the choice of the trade paperbacks but also of the hardcovers as well. Then we're into the big bad boys to finish off with here. So it really is an Alan Moore living this week, I say. 2000 AD stuff, Watchmen, Swamp Thing. Added that from hell. Beautiful hardcover. Eddie Campbell on art, of course. Alan Moore's exploration of Jack the Ripper. Some omnibuses coming in this week as well. We have Spider-Man: The Clone Saga, Volume 1. Oh, this is a heavy bad boy. Look at the size of that. This contains all the issues for what was possibly one of the most divisive runs in Spider-Man, but I think time has been kind to it, and a lot of people find it really, really charming now. But yeah, you basically have the Web of Spider-Man issues, the Amazing Spider-Man issues, the Spider-Man issues, the Spectacular Spider-Man issues, the Spider-Man Unlimited issues, Spider-Man Funeral for an Octopus, and the Clone Journal. That must have been a bitch to collect in single issues. Aliens, the Original Years, back in stock this week as well. So the first volume of the Marvel omnibuses when it comes to Aliens. This is collecting all the Dark Horse stuff going right back to the 1988 adaptation of the movies. So back in stock this week. We have new out this week is the omnibus for ROM, the Original Marvel Years. So this contains ROM 1 to 29 and Power Man and Iron Fist number 73. So I know there's been a lot of demand for that. I've been continuing to get the 2000 AD stuff in and expanding that a little bit. So we've got a couple of volumes here of Strontium Dog, Volume 1 and 2, Search and Destroy, written of course by John Wagner, Alan Grant, art by Carlos Escazera, and also Brendan McCarthy as well. So yeah, first 2 volumes of Strontium Dog. And then we finish off with what must be the most glorious book this week. Just look at this. I'll be tucking into this myself. Daredevil Born Again, quite simply one of the best Daredevil stories around. Frank Miller, David Mazzucchelli, it's the Batman Year 1 team, or if you read Batman Year 1, it's the Daredevil Born Again team. The 2 titles are interchangeable. Excellence, completely reinvigorated the characters they were working on. This is the complete run from Daredevil 226 to 233, and it's in that beautiful oversized format. I mean, this is going to be glorious. Again, one of the best things Born Again you will ever read. And I really can't recommend it enough. So written by Frank Miller with Denny O'Neil also, and drawn by David Mazzucchelli. Just so nice. Anyway, that is it for this week in terms of what's going on to the shelves. So some of it will be getting into the back catalogue, some will be on the new release racks. I'm starting to set up some more different displays around the store. We've made a few changes in the last week or two as well. New coffee station over there, just moving things about and keeping it interesting, trying to maximize the space as much as possible as well. But we're going to try and do more book displays. I've always wanted to be a bookstore first, merchandise second. It's cool having merch and this and that, but I'm a book guy first and foremost. So you'll see a few changes in the store over the next few weeks anyway. But again, hope this proved useful for you. I'm going to put all this away and jump on to doing the pull list now that I am back in the store. So as ever, I hope this proved useful. Hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the store throughout the week. Take it easy.